Guys, in this video, I want to explain you the process that we follow on 0 to 1. And not only the process that we follow on 0 to 1, but also the process that you can use to remove yourself from the service. I think we all know, I mean, when you have a business that provides a service, for example, a marketing agency or anything similar, what tends to happen is that you can keep growing the business. I mean, you can keep, making more and more money, but I believe that's not the most important thing. I mean, at the end of the day, how much time do you have left? I believe that's something very important. I mean, because if you're making money, but you're working, I don't know, 23 hours per day, it doesn't make sense. I would recommend you to stay until the end of the video, because in that way you will be able to understand what I'm trying to explain you. If you're watching me for the first time, my name is Justo. I'm in a process of creating 12 apps in 1 year, and I recently launched the 5th app. Now we're about to launch the 6th one, and I created a process that lets me test applications in just a couple of weeks, so we're gonna start seeing if that application is worth building or not. Look, I know how how an agency works, because I already had an agency in the past, and once you break, I don't know, 1k or 10k per month, obviously you start having a demand problem because you already have a client. But what's the thing here? More clients means, more team means more coordination, more dependence on you, and that is the selling. It's not a selling of the money that you can make, but the selling of your time, and most importantly, your free time. So this doesn't exist to help you launch a new application or anything like that. It exists to migrate leverage without a break in the business that already works. The phase one is selling diagnosis, not trying to build an application. I mean, a lot of people start by asking what a software as a service can we build, or they think that an idea is enough. But here we are in a completely different stage and a completely different direction from someone that is starting from scratch. It's important to understand that. So at first, we identify where the leverage is trapped. And you can do it by taking a look at your service through three filters mainly. First of all, the repetitive decisions. I mean, what decision do you personally make every week? Then the manual translation. I mean, what explanation do you repeat client after client? Then the invisible bottleneck. I mean, where does progress stall until you intervene? And I'll give you a 90-minute exercise that you can use for this. Okay, you block 20 minutes, you block 90 minutes, and you respond. What decisions can no one make without me? Which meetings exist only because I have to validate them? What mistakes appear when I don't intervene? And don't theorize. I mean, use examples from the last 2 weeks. If you can not identify a repeating pattern, there's no extraction possible there. Maybe you don't even need to create a software as a service. Now the phase two is extraction, okay? Software as a service in this case is not innovation, it's compression. So you are not inventing something new, you are extracting something that already works inside your service. As the lean startup explains, you validate learning first, not the product. So the right question is, what part of the delivery already produces consistent results? What decision can be standardized, and what part doesn't rely on your intuition every time? If it still requires your creative judgment each cycle, no. And we are not trying to build here complete platforms, internal dashboards, dressed up as a product, okay? The ultimate system that does everything. We are trying to remove yourself from the service. And as I'm telling you, I mean, this is a rule that I use for every single service that I want to turn the service into a software as a service. If you're on that stage and if you want to do that, before exposing it as software as a service, it has to run inside your service. I mean, if you wouldn't operate your own business with data system, it's not a product yet. It's not something finished, and you need to put a lot of attention into that. Now, 0 to 1 is not a leap, it's a controlled migration. Now, 0 to 1 is not a leap, it's a controlled migration, okay? So on a stage A, what we do is we build the system, and you need to hire a developer to build a system that lives internally, okay? So you use it, your team uses it, and the goal, of this stage is to stabilize it, okay? To the stability of the pattern. I mean, basically, you use the tool to solve your customer problem and to deliver the desired outcome. When you move on to stage B, what happens here is that you start using the tool with your customer, because the goal is to create a tool that your customer can use it by himself. So you can charge whatever you want to charge, and you keep making money without selling your time. So here we measure if your intervention decreased, if your decisions are being standardized, and if your capacity increased without adding complexity. Once you reach stage C, you already have a system that can be used without needing you to be there. So the client enters, the system guides. You only intervene in exceptions. I mean, if they needed to ask you a question or things like that, and that's when it starts to behave like an asset. Lower marginal effort, greater control, and greater strategic optionality. Now, those are the stages that you are gonna go through going from a service to a software as a service. But those are the stages. The way you will go through through those stages is using the lean startup method. And it's very simple because you already have clients that can validate what you are building. You basically launch, measure, learn, and iterate, and you know if you need to pivot, if you need to change something. And in this case, I think the most important metric if this is reducing the founder's structural dependence. Any other startup would have an activation metric that changes depending on the startup goal. Here is different because here we are trying to remove yourself from the service. This is not a no-code experiment, a startup dream. This is leverage migration. This is the game. And the reason that this works so well is because most software as a service startups die searching for demand. You already have it. You already have a service with clients. Most struggle for distribution. You already control it. Your risk is not a product market fit. Your risk is the wrong sequence. Okay, so 0 to 1 fixes the sequence. In conclusion, what you do is you extract a decision repetitive, you validate economic commitment, you operate it internally, you expose it gradually, and you measure removal of the founder. Basically your removal. So if you want me to help you one-on-one, the only thing that you need to do is book a call. I will leave you the link on the comment section. I will help you remove yourself from the service by converting part of your service or your complete service into a software as a service application. You can hit the like button and you can subscribe so we can keep reaching new people. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.